Hi, I'm Pushkar and I'm discussing KVPY 2020 SX Part 1 Chemistry paper. Here is a question which looks like this. Upon dipping a copper rod, the aqueous solution of the salt that can turn blue. So the idea of this problem is, let's come straight to the point that if you dip a copper rod into one of these solutions, which is containing these ions, in the first case, it will be Ca2 plus ion. In the second case, it will be, say, Mg2 plus ion. In the third case, it is Zn2 plus ion. And in the fourth case, it is Ag plus ion. So now the question is, which one of these ions are more reactive? That means, suppose we take example of Ca2 plus. Cu plus Ca2 plus Cu2 plus Ca. Is this process feasible? If this process is feasible, then copper 2 plus will be formed in the solution and the solution will turn blue. Now to see if this process is feasible only when the calcium is, if the calcium is more prone to reduction, that means it is less reactive than copper, then only it's possible, because copper, you see here, is getting oxidized and calcium, you can see Ca2 plus is getting reduced. So if a metal ion can be reduced very easily, it has a great tendency to get reduced. That means it is less active. But we know that calcium is quite reactive. Similarly, the magnesium is also very reactive. They are up in the reactivity series, or we can also say that their reduction potentials are very negative. Ca2 plus don't want to be get reduced easily. Mg2 plus either also don't want to be get reduced easily because the reduction potential very negative. But here is an ion, Ag plus ion, which is very easily reducible, which has a great tendency to get reduced. So it has more tendency to get reduced as compared to the copper. That is why this reaction is a feasible reaction, copper plus Ag plus, and this is going to form copper 2 plus plus twice Ag. Why this reaction is happening spontaneously? Because copper is more reactive and the copper rod has a greater tendency to get oxidized. So it will be oxidized and it will in the process going to reduce the Ag plus into silver ion. And in this process, copper 2 plus will come into the solution and will show the blue color. So idea of this process is, our problem is that you must know which is more reactive, and it is not a very hard fact because silver is, very commonly known, the reducing agents and oxidizing agents, and Ag plus can be very easily reduced, so it can act as an oxidizing agent. We also know that it acts as an oxidizing agent in tolerance test and so many other tests. So obviously the basis of this problem is to test your memory, but this is a common sense or general knowledge question that Ag plus ion has a great tendency to get reduced. So the options are, the answer is of course AgNO3. So if you put a copper rod in AgNO3 solution, the copper rod is going to dissolve and Ag plus is going to be deposited on that copper rod and the solution will slowly turn the blue solution. Answer is D. Explanation is this. Here the explanation is given in terms of the reduction potentials, but I have discussed in terms of what general knowledge that we must know. Ag plus is quite easily reducible because its reduction potential is quite high, as you can see in this data. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next question.